Casey Neistat is apparently at the Trump arraignment. I believe Lolo's there too. Lolo overruled. A lot of people are there. This is the hot button thing. You know what I mean? This is the place to be. All the who's. Everyone is at the gala. Okay, everyone is there. Everyone is smoking on the fucking Trump pack. Everyone is excited to see a former president get indicted and then arraigned, and possibly get fingerprinted. All of this sort of good stuff. I certainly am one of those people as well. You got NBC, you got ABC. Let's line them up. Thank you, Themasius, for sending me the lineups here.
Really important.
97,000 people watching NBC, 70,000 people watching ABC.
Mainly because what you want to do is you want to
everyone is waiting.
And you want to follow the law, and by just mainly
very confused MB. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Lolo's there for a very separate trial. Doesn't matter.
Cloudiness, any red herrings, then you really do end up over delivering just by nature.
I am, of course, not there. This is not a pre-recorded broadcast. This is not a pre-recorded reaction that I am playing over a live stream that I knew was going to be happening on this day so that I could secretly be dressed up as a Secret Service agent and break Trump out of prison, do a prison break on Trump. Obviously, that's not what's happening. Please stop saying that is what's going on. Okay, here he is. Here's the big, beautiful boy right there. This is when he was going in.
Is hitting him. I raised that point, Lester, because I think it really underscores that this is uncharted territory for former President Trump as well, right? He has faced so many legal battles throughout the...
For all the Tennessee heads out there talking about gun control in Tennessee, fear not. Obviously, I'm going to cover it. Unlike the rest of mainstream media, we will get to it as well today.
A new moment for him. Again, we are going to hear from him later on today, this evening from Mar-a-Lago, where we expect to hear the defiant Mr. Trump. He's not just a former president, he's a TV star who understands.
Without further ado, I say we fucking blast off early and we blast off soon.
You may say or not say to an open mic in that hallway, but we do know he's going to speak tonight. He's planning a speech in the what we consider the primetime viewing hours. Any idea what the thrust of that message will be?
Well, Lester, I think you can look to the former president's social post to get a sense of the tone that we are going to hear tonight. He has been defiant. He has lashed out at the DA, Alvin.
No mugshot, unfortunately. We found out last night. No mugshot. I said no perp walk, no mugshot, no courtroom cameras. Alvin Bragg is a bum. Maybe the Republicans were right about Alvin Bragg. It seems criminal, in my opinion, to not allow this kind of stuff, not allow this kind of content. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you. The judge is a bum. Alvin Bragg is a bum. Everybody involved is a criminal. Denying us of our basic humanity, our basic rights. I know it's the judge decision. Again, criminal judge. Alvin Bragg is a criminal for not letting the judge get away with it. Alvin Bragg should have stepped in and arrested the judge for making such a decision. I am suing. The fact that we can't get our juicy fucking crumbs of this man who has been in the minds of, oh, wait.
Covered.
You coming out?
Bragg, he will stick within his comments, within what's in the indictment, and not stray too much. We have tried many a times on many other cases, and he is, a trained former federal prosecutor. And
but he has to know that he's already on the defense from much of the criticism we've heard the last several days.
He is certainly aware. I think he's going to outline these charges. I think he's going to explain to the best he can the rationale for bringing these charges and why they were brought now. But I don't think he's going to get involved in some of the extraneous conversations that were going to go on. He's going to address what's in the indictment, and he has sort of engaged that way with the press to date.
And that's, by the way, a picture of him going into the courthouse earlier. Right. He does hold things close to the vest. That's a description I've heard many times of him. In talking to people who know him, did they think he would have gone for this if he thought that it was weak and the way it's been described as weak?
Look, he originally, remember all the controversy? He backed off when the line prosecutors, Mark Pomerantz and that team, felt they had a case and they were ready to move forward. Let's go. And he said, time out. Let's take a look at this. And, resulted in a lot of combat inside that office and some resignations. They went back. They took a hard look at this Stormy Daniels hush money payment issue that the Southern District of New York passed on. And important to note that was passed on after Joe Biden was elected, after Bill Barr was out of office, and that Southern District with that team of prosecutors who were, a no-nonsense group by reputation, and from what I know about them, they chose not to go after this case in a federal indictment. They did not go forward. What Alvin Bragg has now, remember, he met with Michael Cohen 20 times. This grand jury has been meeting for weeks and hearing from, the publisher of the National Enquirer, a host of witnesses and documents. So there's a lot they know that we don't. And so we hope to hear a heck of a lot more at 3:30 from Mr. Bragg. And when we see that document to sort of outline exactly the rationale and the charges that he brought forward here. But he is a cautious, careful man in something like this.
I do wonder if we will hear from him, though, Jonathan, the way that you describe it.
I blasted off.
Things that are extraneous, if you will. I mean, the very real threats against him, the threats that he has received. And this ties into something we were talking about with Kristen Welker as well on the speech tonight that Donald Trump will give at Mar-a-Lago. He has attacked the judge presiding this case, as we've discussed, as somebody who he says hates Donald Trump. Will he go after the judge again tonight? That is legally perilous.
Here
for
it
him.
is,
And
folks.
There's a question on how much or if, right, the judge will address
We're
that
live.
in this
We're
arraignment
blasted
here in
off.
the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, just to
Let the
remind you
people
what he
know.
said earlier in that Truth Social post, talking about his desire to go to a different venue, to Staten Island as opposed to Manhattan, very unfair venue. But he talks about the highly
Donald Trump is
partisan
arrested
judge
for
and
being
his
the best
family
president
as
that
well-known
America has
Trump
ever
haters.
seen. Perhaps the best president of all time. That's why the fake news, liberal media arrested our boy.
He's warned by the judge, knock it off, essentially, right? I mean, then how does he? It's tough to tell Donald Trump.
Very
not to talk
unfair
about something, right?
venue with some areas that voted 1% Republican.
He's warned not to talk about it, and then does deliberately.
This case should be moved to nearby Staten Island. Would be a very fair, secure location.
Way, and that's where I think the judge might be more inclined to actually issue an order about it. Everyone is saying, obviously there are free speech concerns. There's the fact that he's running for public office. If he deliberately ignores an admonishment from a judge to not talk about this case, because usually it's the defendant who wants to preserve the right to a fair trial. Usually it's the defendant who's asking for prosecutors not to talk, asking for the gag order. If he deliberately ignores what the judge says, I think that changes a lot in the minds of that judge.
CNN said that Trump apparently wants his mugshot taken. Yeah, no shit he wants his mugshot taken because he understands fucking content, okay? You know who doesn't understand content? Goddamn judges, okay? Crooked-ass judges. Arrest Hillary Clinton, arrest the fucking judge. He gets content. He's got content brain. Bro, he's already selling mugshots. He already started selling mugshots. This is the ugliest shirt of all time. Okay? The real thing would be an incredible, iconic moment in history. We were robbed. We were fucking robbed of that. Also, notice how he said 45 and 47 like he's going to win again. Like 45 and 47, like he's definitely going to get reelected. Like he definitely got reelected. Austin is in New York. Yeah, Austin is on the ground correspondent. Clearly that's not Casey Neistat. That's clearly Austin. He wanted to be a mugshouty so bad. Yes. My man literally fucking took a photo. He already is selling a fake fucking mugshot. He's already selling it. You know, this is an industrious individual, okay?
Could get added. He described it as an obstruction of governmental administration. which is essentially
You know we can't see your feet. Why bother with the shoes?
With you, this.
It's
You
about
feel
getting
that,
ready.
And as he said, let me quote him.
It's an entire
"You can
ensemble.
take what perhaps we
I have to
think
put
is
the
not
whole
strongest
ensemble
case
together.
when
I
you
can't
add
be
a count
no.
like
I can't
that,
be taking
put it in
half
front of a
measures here
jury, you
today.
can
This is a
change the
beautiful
jury's
day.
mind
It's an
about the
important day.
severity of the
I'm not gonna
case
fucking
that
give
they're
you
looking at. So the point he was making
a
is that
bullshit
some of the
half
lawyers
measure,
ought to be
okay?
warning Trump, the more you do this, the more this could happen, where the DA adds a charge.
You wouldn't
and
want
that
me.
only
You wouldn't want me taking this
hurts you with
halfway.
the jury at the end of the day, if you actually care about your guilt.
Yeah, you mentioned lawyers. We saw Joe Tacopina walk in, and here is the former president. There he is.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it. We got a brief glimpse. Wait, isn't that fucking Jason Miller? Is that Jason Miller, the fucking rat?
But then proceeding inside the courtroom.
Jason Miller of Abortion Franchise LLC?
And I can provide a bit of an explanation of what the delay was. Remember, this was set for 2:15. We are hearing from one source inside.
He looks so sad. President, I'm coming to save you, sir. Sir, I'm coming to save you.
Today's hearing, so that they could review the charges in advance of the hearing, so the hearing didn't start, and then they asked for a delay, and then go into the back to have their meeting. So from one source,
That means it should be unsealed.
so that means it will be unsealed as soon as the judge takes the bench. It is customary in many cases that the DA's office will provide courtesy copies when a defense lawyers or the defendant arrives to facilitate the movement. But again, that's just one source saying that is their understanding of what this 15-minute or so delay from the 2:15 start time was.
All right, Catherine Christian is still with us. She worked in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. You have been through this many times. Give us an idea of what will happen typically right now, how long this moment will take.
Well, it shouldn't, and if it is true what Jonathan said, that the defense were given a copy of indictment, that should make it a shorter proceeding, because they will have the opportunity, or they had the opportunity to review it, and they're not basically reviewing it as soon as it's handed to them in the well of the courtroom. So what you just saw Mr. Trump go in, that's typically how someone who is not, incarcerated would come in. They would just come in through the front doors.
Someone tried to rush Trump?
By Secret Service.
No, I'm
And
there
he
to
will
defend
join
him.
His attorneys on one side of the courtroom, they call it in the well, at a table. I don't know if all four of his attorneys will be seated with him, but they might. And on the other side, directly on the opposite side of him, will be the prosecutors on the case. Probably not every one of them. The first row in all courtrooms are reserved for the attorneys. So on the one side will be the defense attorneys, or people who are part of the firm will be behind Mr. Trump and his attorneys. And on the other side will be, if the district attorney Bragg is not going to be personally doing the arraignment, he'll be seated right behind the assistant district attorneys who are assigned to the case. And the judge will be there, the chief, they call it the bridge officer, who is the court officer, the court clerk, the court stenographer. So the well will not be congested with a lot of people. The audience will be seated behind that first row of attorneys.
So in terms of scheduling, for future court dates, will the former president be required to appear in person?
What is happening?
He should not, for an adjournment for the
Is it out of sync again? I'm so mad. Is it fucking out of sync again? Because I've been trying to fix it, and I don't know how to. That sucks. What is this? Trump mugshot side view? Okay, bro. Don't give me fake shit. I know it's been out of sync. I know. We're going to go to Fox News. It's not the extension, dude. It's like weirdly the way that the display capture works. I might just have to do a Google Chrome situation here. In Japan, you deleted your OBS overlay and added a new one, and it worked. I did that this morning. It's on the OBS side. There's no delay on the camera. There's a delay on the videos that I'm watching. And the reason why there's a delay on the videos that I'm watching is because I know how I fixed it in Japan. I did that already. It's not working. They didn't hold the door open for him, so it crashed into his arm. Yeah, that was fucked up. That was fucked up. Here, look at that. We're gonna run it back. The cop in front of him doesn't hold the door open, and then it shuts on him. Okay, just like America shut its door on him. Remember that. It's basically like America closed the door on the greatest president of all time. Our big beautiful boy needs to be defended. I'm there to defend you, sir.
President Trump, will you come speak to us, President Trump?
Anyway, yes, the Wisconsin Supreme Court election is a huge one. Obviously, the Tennessee. Listen, there's a lot of shit that's going on in the United States of America. There's always stuff going on in the United States of America because this country is full of this country is full of issues, okay? Issues that we refuse to fix. So obviously, we're going to get to all of that other stuff as well. But right now, you do not come across like you're, woke or woker than thou by being like, dude, why are you watching the most like significant piece of fucking news instead of watching other things that are still very important and very significant, but like not as timely? Okay? I know. I am the news guy. Trust me. We're going to talk about Wisconsin. We're going to talk about what happened in Tennessee. We're going to talk about all of that. Okay?
How does that work? What happens when they get surrendered to the FBI? So I know that he has thought a lot about this over the years in the context of other people. But for him to be going through this today, I don't care what his staff says, this is a very, very difficult day for Donald Trump.
And Chris, what do you make of the fact that, and you know him well, that he has been so successful over the years at pushing back the law, if you will, defending himself, delaying, stalling, and obviously there could be delays after this day. We fully expect them as we watch this case unfold.
Donald Trump is going to be speaking later, so
fingerprinted
because Donald Trump is not a regular person, because he's like wealthy and also, was the president. He gets he does this arraignment and then he goes back to Florida. He's going to fly back to Florida and he's going to do a press release at Mar-a-Lago later today. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of Trump speeches. First one coming, I believe, 6 hours from now. But that doesn't even mean anything because like it's not going to be 6 hours. It's probably going to be like fucking 8 hours because he's always late. So he's going to do a bunch of rallies off this. He's going to use this as forward momentum for his campaign. Like I said, he already started selling a fake mugshot, which is really bullshit, honestly. Like the fact that we can't get access to his real mugshot is really silly. There's also Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to be talking about that. I covered the Marjorie Taylor Greene puff piece like extensively yesterday. I hope my editors are on it. Because, that one is a huge one, I think. That's like kind of going unnoticed. 60 Minutes did a Marjorie Taylor Greene press release, or basically PR for Marjorie Taylor Greene, a puff piece that they conducted on her, even though she's fucking absolutely unhinged. So, we will talk about that as well. But I covered it yesterday if you want to see that. Okay. The 60 Minutes Marjorie Taylor puff piece was a ratings flop for what it's worth. I don't care. Live photo of Trump. That's real. That's actually him. He is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. She Marjoried on my Taylor till I greened. That's nasty. New Yorkers are mostly outside celebrating. Yeah, it seems like the pro-Trump protesters outside were a flop and that it's mostly just people doing pack watch shit. It's mostly people just celebrating, it seems. Why? What is happening? What the hell's going on? I don't like this. Why? Where's the law and order? Where's the real law and order? Talking about the lawlessness of the Manhattan DA. What's happening? I don't like this. Why are they partying? Here are some of the first images from inside of the courtroom. This is CNN showing the first images from inside of the courtroom at the moment. I am going to go to CNN right now, live coverage, to see what they're doing.
Full of the process and to use temperate language and so forth. But the target of those admonishments is clearly going to be Mr. Trump. And I think, given that he's now a defendant in a criminal case, he is subject to rules of the court. And if he continues to engage in that type of threatening, abusive social media posting,
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second just because this is one of the photographs that we just got. There were, from inside the courtroom, still photographers, about half a dozen of them or so, were allowed in the room to take pictures. They are not going to be televising the proceedings within the courtroom, but there is Donald Trump. You see to his left, to our left, Todd Blanche, which is a new attorney on his team, and then on the right side of the screen, Joe Tacopina. I'm sorry, Adam, please proceed with what you were saying.
No, I just think that there will be an admonishment to be temperate in their language. And I think
I was looking at something else.
Mr. Trump continues to call the DA an animal, continues to incite threats against the
Look at Joey Tacopina.
This judge will take control of the proceeding and will issue a gag order and shut that down.
Yeah. So the photograph is stark and historic as we look at it. Donald Trump with I don't know how to characterize his face, but certainly a serious expression on his face. Alyssa Farrah Griffin, is she with us? If she is, I'd love her to weigh in on what she sees in this picture.
Jake, I mean, that's a man who looks like a defendant. The former
wow,
president.
incredible analysis. Thank
seen
you.
That face not many times. He looks somber. I have to wonder if what he read in the indictment before coming out was more than he anticipated. He obviously went into this knowing it wasn't going to be a good day for him. He's going to be marked in the history books as the first indicted former president. But this looks like a man who the weight of his actions may be catching up with him, and he feels out of control of the situation, at least for the duration of this arraignment. He's not in control of the situation. He can't storm out. He can't throw his hands up. He can't,
oh my God, this analysis is so fucking stupid. Dude, come on. Just have fun with it. This is so dumb. I'm losing it. He looks like he doesn't give a shit. You want to know why? Because he doesn't give a shit, because it's not that serious. Okay? That's it. That's why he looks like he doesn't give a shit. Also, what is this like? We need to bring in body language experts to see what Donald Trump is saying. Like, just have fun with it. Just freestyle. Just have fun with it. Okay? Donald Trump is being arraigned today. Has been arraigned today. Okay? They told him what his charges are. We're gonna find out soon. I don't expect anything major coming out of this, okay? I do not expect anything major coming out of this. As I've said over and over again, there are two separate cases that are more significant than this one, okay? The RICO in Georgia is actually, in my opinion, more significant than this one, election tampering. Okay, or manipulating vote counts, trying to manipulate vote counts. Okay, that's huge. The other one is obviously the DOJ January 6th insurrection-related one, which also is better than this one. This is just, as far as we understand, leading up to this moment, we're still speculating. But as far as we understand, this is just simply mismanaging campaign funds. Mismanaging campaign funds to pay Stormy Daniels hush money in the lead up to the 2016 election. Okay, that's it. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Defense lawyer, he's a political advisor Right. And so, Jake, the only thing I can think of is he's sitting at that table, so any communications he can have with the president moving forward are privileged. And they can't be they can't be subject to disclosure. It's interesting that Boris is sitting there. I guess he's not traditionally a notable criminal defense lawyer as the rest sitting there at the table.
That could be just it, because if he is serving as a lawyer, then any of his communications with the team of lawyers or with the client, Donald Trump, would be privileged.
Right.
I saw it as something even more basic than that, is Donald Trump has certain staff around him or sort of safety blankets for him, people that make him feel comfortable. He doesn't have longstanding relationships with most of these attorneys, to the best of my knowledge. But Boris is somebody, he's an original 2016er. He's somebody that he has a close relationship with. And I think just having that one person near him helps him.
And also, Alyssa, if I could just note, these pictures, he's looking right at the camera. I mean, the photographers are there, the still photographers are there. He's
Bro, this is crazy.
While his attorneys
the amount of like analysis that they're engaging in, the amount of analysis they're engaging in,
and he doesn't look like somebody who has. I mean, we'll see what's in the arraignment, what's in the indictment rather. We'll see what the charges are, but he doesn't look like somebody who thinks that the indictment is nonsense.
It's also interesting, Jake. I mean, he's just been through a process which, as Van pointed out earlier, I mean, every criminal defendant goes through. As he entered the hall, the 15th floor, he didn't even have somebody holding the door open for him. I don't know if you noticed, and we could replay that video at some point of him making an appearance on the hall. There's a court officer, I believe, who enters before him, doesn't hold the door open for him, and the former president actually has to push the door open for himself, which is probably the first time he's had to do that.
This is such lip shit. Yes, this is the one day. This is the one day where everybody, especially on the liberal side, get to have fun. Okay? This guy's a president. This guy is a former United States president. I'm sorry, but this is an understandable moment to get libbed up on. Okay? Now, do I think that anything is going to happen? No, I don't. But should we actually fucking enjoy it? Absolutely. Yeah, Ulysses S. Grant was the only other president who was ever arrested, and he got multiple speeding tickets for constantly speeding. And it doesn't even count. Like this doesn't even count. You know what I mean? Yeah, I talked about this before. Yeah, it's just like they're doing the same thing as the beta sigma posture analysis psychos on Twitter. What is happening? Yeah, because people are fucking unhinged, okay? Trump is not currently a president. Why do we not point that out? When you are an American president, you are forever an American president. That's why people always say President Donald Trump. That part is understandable. That's just how it is. It's like, that's why they say you don't lose the title. That's why they say President Obama. Bro, call the 2024 election right now. CNN about to give it to him again. They're so lame. Trump don't care about you, lol, bro. They are very horny for the content. But to be fair, so am I. Here, let's see what else
happens in a courtroom. Do they recite each charge to the charge of X? How do you plead? And he says not guilty? Or how does it go?
So different practices, but in what I would expect is that they would read the charges, and you may also want to check with our New York lawyers who have been in the New York DA's office in terms of what their experience is in the court, and Judge Merchan in particular. But they would read the entire indictment, or he could waive the reading of the indictment. And so one of the things that we want to listen for is how the actual proceeding before this particular judge went forward.
Let's go to Karen up in New York. Karen, how would it proceed? Would they read each one of the 34 charges and he would say not guilty to each one of them, or would it be a waiving of them all and just one plea of not guilty?
Yeah, so typically the way it's done is a defense attorney will say, the judge will ask, do you waive the reading of the rights? And the defense attorney will respond, yes, but not the rights thereunder. The fact that he's already, if the reporting's correct, the fact that he's already pled not guilty to all 34 charges leads me to believe that that probably did happen here, that they waived the reading of the 34 charges and instead just arraigned him on the indictment. This is a long proceeding, I will say, for an arraignment. Because especially if he's already pled not guilty, that's the main thing that would happen here is the reading.
Isn't it because Russia is bogged down in Ukraine and can't focus on Trump propaganda right now? People are saying this law. Yeah, those people are fucking delusional, dude. That's insane. The amount of money that the Republican Party spends on AstroTurf protests is like unimaginably higher than the fucking small number of ad dollars that like Russia was able to utilize on Facebook. Okay? That's delusion to the highest order. It's just like that's liberal brain rot. It's Lebanon, okay? It's blue anon, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's silly. It's stupid. Yeah, don't take any of that shit seriously. Tell chat as a Google Trump Rule 34 to get the full list of charges. Yeah, don't do that. Sakura, thank you for the 20 gifted. Emma the Itchy, thank you for the 5. Fugaku thank you for the 5. Mott666. Gamer Guy Grizz with the 20 of the subs. Julie, high five. Thank you for the 5.
So she was a defense attorney before, and she was a prosecutor before that. And Mr. Bragg, DA Bragg, brought
Kyle
her
Marks,
back
thank
to
you for the
lead his
5 as well.
investigation division, which is it's an executive level position, very prestigious. And like I said, she was the trial lawyer who successfully tried the case against the Trump organization and got the 17-count conviction on behalf of the office.
And Karen, who is the woman at the table with Chris Conroy to our left, his right, in the blue dress?
She's another ADA on the case who works in the Major Economic Crime Bureau. The team is going to have multiple attorneys on it, and the question is, we just didn't know who was going to be the lead lawyer, who's going to be speaking on the record.
Damon Pasta, Slad the Laddie, Goku's upper lip,
Pope, or others who are at an executive level who are working on this case. Chris Conroy is a senior investigative counsel. He's just an ADA, I should say. He's an assistant district attorney, a very senior, seasoned, excellent lawyer who they are having be the ADA meaning assistant district attorney, who will be arraigning Mr. Trump and speaking on the record.
So the interesting context you also brought up is that Susan Hoffinger, the woman with the white shirt and black jacket sitting behind Chris Conroy at the prosecutor's table, just defeated in court the woman, Susan Necklace, in the green suit at the defendant's table right next to Donald Trump in the Trump Organization case, which was a big victory for District Attorney Alvin Bragg, I believe, right?
Exactly right. 17 felony count conviction against the Trump Organization.
And Carrie, go
Worth
ahead.
noting, though, that that case ended in fines. I mean, it was convictions. And the case was successfully prosecuted from a prosecutor's perspective, but the end result was fines for the Trump Organization. I just think we have to keep that in context in terms of this, even though this particular proceeding today has a lot of gravity to it, and the former president.
The baseball bat tweet was utilized in court. They're saying that there could be a gag order for it.
And some of
as
them
a threat.
are
It constitutes a
other
legitimate
than
threat,
the
which
former
it does.
president ending up with a felony conviction. Some of them could potentially be something as simple as a fine.
Absolutely, and all of us should, in journalism and in the public, should